Phil, is Hakuna Matata a real thing?
Yeah, it's a real thing.
What does it actually mean?
It means no worries.
For real?
Yeah.
Lion King was not lying to us.
No lying. Yeah, so Hakuna, it means nothing, right? And then Matata means worries. No worries. That's what Hakuna Matata means.
Right on. Hakuna Matata. Are there other phrases from Lion King that are real?
Asante sana.
Asante sana, squash
Yeah.
banana. All right.
No, Asante sana just means thank you.
So
Squash
thank
bananas.
you, squash bananas. Rhymes with it. You learn something new every day. This is called an elephant gate. Long, thick metal wires that hang down to dissuade, deter, and discourage elephants from entering the town of Dol Dol. It's a wild problem to have. The elephant gate is very much needed though, since the big boys keep coming in to smash open the town's water tanks during the dry season. Today we're gonna try and fix that elephant-sized problem here in Dol Dol while we deliver the library books that you all donated a few months ago. The town we're currently in is called Dol Dol, which is about a 5-hour drive north of Nairobi. Dol Dol is nestled between some different conservancies, which is the Kenyan equivalent of a national park. And since we are here visiting from the States, where our largest animal is a bison or a buffalo, it's pretty crazy to drive through these conservancies filled with elephants, rhinos, lions, and zebras, where all of the animals appear to be having a really good time. We did stop and visit the 2 remaining northern white rhinos, both of which are female, which would normally be considered difficult for reproduction, but these 2 might not have to be the last ones on the planet, but we'll get back to that in a second. First, the library, a project we've been working on behind the scenes with my Uncle Philip for about a year now, and it's all coming together. Cambry and I asked for book donations about 6 months ago, and thousands of you shipped tens of thousands of books from all over the USA so we could fill a shipping container and deliver the books here in Kenya. Libraries are the window to the world, and like Albert Einstein once said, the only thing you absolutely must know is the location of the library. Cambry's working over here in the picture books. What have you found so far?
Okay, well, I am in all the board books right now. I love all the Eric Carle ones. But then this one was in one of the boxes, and it's For You, Our Kenyan Child, and I just think this obviously is applicable to this population. I think it's cool that you guys donated books that were applicable to this part of the world, and then others that maybe would be new for them, like the Pout Pout fish. Just really excited about all the adventures these kids get to have with these books.
We picked Dol Dol as the location for this library for 2 reasons. 1, they need a library, and 2, the Conservancy is able to take care of the library long term, with librarians and security. The nearest library to this community is about a 2-hour car drive away, which is a full day's walk and pretty inaccessible. And the container is completely empty. We just said goodbye to the shipping container. The books in their boxes are all unloaded inside the library. Let me give you a quick little tour. The layout obviously could change still at any point. Over here in this corner, Cambry's over there working in the kids section, and we have all of this where the kids can come and read. And then over here, we're gonna have kind of the teen, the young adults, and then as we circle around the library, we'll have more of like the education books for adults, and then obviously adult fiction as we unbox all of these books. But come over here and take a look at this. It's just amazing seeing, well, for one, all the help we have over here to unbox everything, but also like the encyclopedias. It's pretty amazing seeing everything come together this far away from home. The container's been on the ocean for about 2 months now. Just the logistics of getting this all prepared. Thank you so much for donating books. This is a super fun project. We still have some organizing to do. Cambry's over here in the kids section, and I've just noticed AP statistics. Some books just do not belong in the kids section. Libraries are the memory of civilizations, preserving and sharing knowledge across generations and societies, building from the ideas and failures of others and not having to repeat the same mistakes that people have made in the past. In theory, obviously, books are only useful if they get used. But books make great gifts because they have whole worlds in them.
This is amazing. This is like in the middle of nowhere in Kenya. We have the same exact kind of books that are available anywhere else in the world. And to me, this is like the most inspiring thing ever.
What's been your favorite part of the library so far?
Working with my son.
The national language here is both Swahili and English.
when you grow up in your family, you speak your tribal language and you speak your mother tongue, as we call it. But when you go to school, you have to learn in English.
Thousands of people donated in the States, hundreds of people arrived to help out here in Kenya. It's just two communities working together to make a hub of knowledge that anyone can visit for free. And by showing off this library and your donations, we're able to bring awareness and do it again somewhere else in the future. It's taken about a year for this whole project to come together, and one quote I've been thinking about the whole time is from Nelson Mandela that says, "Education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world." And I hope that this library is able to benefit the community. Obviously, it's a long-term investment, so thank you so much for donating your books, and this is where they'll be living for the next few decades. One unique problem that Dol Dol has is elephants. As you're driving into the town, you'll notice some dangling wires hanging over the entrances, and those are to help keep the elephants away from the people. And during the dry season, since elephants can smell water up to 5 miles away, they know there's water inside of these tanks, and so when the rivers dry up, the elephants will come into the village, poke the tanks with their tusks, and drink all of the villagers' water inside of the tanks, which leads to some chaotic animal-human interactions that we're trying to avoid. Dol Dol is home to the Maasai tribe, and the elephants outside the elephant gate can walk around like they own the place, because technically they do. The dangly wired elephant gate only guards the town center, where the schools, marketplace, and local hospital are located. Human-animal confrontations over resources are pretty common, but get especially scary when the elephants are so large and so powerful. There's not much a regular human can do to stop an elephant. What we've been able to do, thanks to you watching these videos, we've funded a water pipeline from a borehole that's down at the bottom of the hill that tracks all the way up to a school and village at the top of the hill. That way, elephants and humans aren't gathering water from the same spaces. We've also taken some of the tanks and elevated them off the ground so the elephants can't reach them with their tusks, keeping the very expensive tanks and the very essential water that is hidden inside safe from the elephants. Oh, gosh dang! This place is dangerous. Can I eat it right now? You're rubbing off all the spikes. It's very bitter. It's like an apple that's not ripe. Thank you. Thank you for the thank you. I'm gonna put it right here. And apparently the camels can eat these things, spikes and all, with no problem. Their lips are a little more resilient than mine. These trees are vicious. This is another tank that the elephants, when it's a dry season, they come up from the river that's all dried up and pierce the water tank from the side and just drink up all the water, damaging a very, very expensive tank in the process. And we want elephants to get, their water, obviously, but we don't want the human-animal interactions to be a negative experience. And even though we've now made the human water off limits and inaccessible to the elephants, there's also a place at the bottom of the hill where water can be pumped out and fill a long trough for the dry seasons. So when the water does disappear out in the savannah, the animals will be able to find this water first and not venture into the village to destroy the tanks. Having multiple lines of defense is a good thing. You might be like, wow, that's a long pipeline. And yeah, previously kids and mothers would trek for about an hour every day to go get water. 2 kilometers downhill to the borehole and 2 kilometers back uphill, carrying all the water they need for the rest of the day. Now with our pipeline though, and elephant-free raised tank off the ground, the students get that hour back and have more time to do their homework. Sorry about that. Killing an elephant has been illegal in Kenya since 1977, and thanks to conservation efforts, the elephant population has doubled in the last 30 years, and growth is a steady 5% a year at the moment. It does take a while for the population to increase since elephant pregnancies take almost 2 years. Speaking of making babies, we made a brief stop at the Ol Pejeta Conservancy, where the last 2 remaining northern white rhinos are located, both of which are female, named Najin and Fatu. Oh my gosh. Wow. Luckily though, for the past decade or so, scientists and rangers here in Kenya have been collecting the ingredients to make more rhinos, if you know what I mean. They have 30 viable northern white rhino embryos that they plan on implanting into a southern white rhino surrogate to try to repopulate the species. Their skin legitimately feels like 80 grit sandpaper. It's a long shot, don't get me wrong, but not all hope is yet lost for the northern white rhinos, and the more people who know and care, the better. Leave a thumbs up to wish the rhinos good luck, they're gonna need it. Speaking of pregnancies though, rhinos aren't the only ones with problems. The humans in Dol Dol are lucky enough to have a hospital, which does provide some basic necessities. The hospital here in Dol Dol serves about 6,000 people and delivers about 20 babies every month. The problem though is that the power at this hospital goes out sometimes for days at a time, and women sometimes give birth in the dark. Behind me is the maternity room, and it's just not a good situation. This is the main hospital for anyone in a 40-mile radius, but in a society where most people walk everywhere, that is a really long way. And unfortunately, due to power cuts, the power does go out fairly often. This video's not sponsored, but EcoFlow heard about this trip and reached out to see if there was any way they could help out. And backing up an entire hospital is an excellent use of their portable batteries and solar panels. Basically, we have two units. We have the main EcoFlow Delta Pro and two smart extra batteries. This is gonna run the maternity ward, and then this over here is one EcoFlow Delta Pro with one smart extra battery, and this will be powering the hospital's laboratory. 2 units gives us about 7 kilowatt hours, and the 3 units give us a little over 10. So it should be able to run the maternity ward all night long until the sun comes up to recharge the system. It's cool that while EcoFlow provided the system, our community, you guys made it possible, it's the locals who are installing everything themselves. They're able to use the portable batteries to install the panels outside before bringing those same batteries inside to back up the hospital long term. The skills and abilities are already here with doctors and electricians. These projects just help make their jobs a little easier. While they're putting up the panels, one thing I think is really cool is that the rain gutter system here actually collects all the rainwater, runs it down to the end, and puts it in a barrel or a storage container so they can use it later. A tank. And since it rained last night, it is completely full right now of drinkable water. So with these hospitals being in remote locations and large distances between the hospitals, is access to emergency power something that you guys have needed?
Access to emergency power has been a challenge for a place like Dol Dol for a very long time. Dol Dol was lucky, yes, to have a little bit of grid access, but it is very unpredictable and can be on and off for a long time.
And so if the power is out and someone needs to give birth, what happens?
Actually, this is a very timely project to assist us because we don't have a backup generator. It's been out of service. The nurses and the clinicians during the delivery have to use torches.
The flashlights?
Yeah, they have to do flashlights. And sometimes you find that maybe a baby might be born and requires maybe some bit of oxygen.
The batteries are installed. This is more of like an off-grid system, but the hospital here can take their electrical cords and plug it straight into this and get free power whenever they want, enough to run their centrifuge, the chemistry analyzer, the blood analyzer. Now that we have the laboratory backed up, let's do maternity ward. Having 2 kids of my own, maternity ward hits a little closer to home because having a baby is probably one of the more traumatic experiences a person can have in their life. One of the best experiences, don't get me wrong, but it is fairly traumatic. And giving birth in the dark by flashlight has got to make it even worse. So we have the oxygen concentrator, the suction machine, the radiant heat. I can feel heat coming off of this. Let's see how much power we're using. Power is just over 1,000 watts. So at a full charge, we should be able to power everything at once for about 9 hours. Obviously the radiant heat doesn't run perpetually. It turns on and off just to regulate temperature. But between the 3 solar panels on the roof and these 3 batteries down here, we should have the maternity ward backed up indefinitely. Which brings us to our final stop, the library we built a few years ago on the other side of Kenya in the city of Budalangi. Turns out people are still using it every single day. However, there is one little problem. Every night when the sun goes down, no one can come and read books until now. EcoFlow has given us this guy. It's called the River 2 Pro, and we have a 200-watt solar panel on the roof that's going to be able to feed this in the morning and add another 2 or 2.5 hours of power at night where the kids can come after school or after dinner and read the books they want to read. It has 3 regular outlets on the front, along with 4 USB-C ports that people can use to charge up their phones, since a lot of the electrical power here in Budalangi runs to businesses and not the residential houses. So if you want to charge your phone, you have to go somewhere. And what better place than a library where you can also sit and read a book while your technology rejuices. Not only is the library a place that kids and adults can come and learn while school is in session, but during the summer months when the school is out, kids are still able to gather here and have a place to meet while the parents are out working. It's nice that this is a safe place for kids to come even if they can't read yet. With the sun going down, the solar hasn't had a chance to charge up the battery, but it looks like we should be able to get about 2.5 or 3 hours worth of light after the sun goes down once the battery is charged up all the way. When we were setting up the water tower last time, we were in a rush to get to the airport, so we didn't quite see the solar panels going on top of the water tower, nor this little spigot area where people can, let the water flow without getting mud everywhere. When we handed everything off to the government, I wasn't quite sure how the library would look in a few years, but now coming back, it's better than we left it. So it's super cool seeing the community come together and take care of something that's super valuable.
I really encourage you to have a habit of reading. I would even say that the moment I usually read here, once I go home, I sleep soundly, I wake up younger.
Knowledge makes you younger.
It makes me younger.
Learning makes you younger.
Learning really makes me younger.
Do you guys know this one? Yes. I've never read it, so it'll be my first time. In the jingle jangle jungle, there was music in the air.
Talking to the kids and the librarians and the adults who come here to read at the library, there's like a sense of ownership and almost a sense of pride in having this many books all in one location. And they've taken really good care of the gift that was donated to them.
My favorite part of this library, thousands and thousands of people in my community gathered their favorite books right here. And your community built the building and the water to receive the gift from my community.
First of all, thank you so much for these gifts. I think we can all find limitations. I know I do, but there's no limitation to what we can learn. I think this library has a lot to offer, and I'm so grateful that we could create this together.
When we first had the idea of building a library here in Kenya a few years ago, I didn't really know what to expect, but now seeing the impact that it's been having and the books that you've donated still here and serving their purpose, it's just fun seeing everything function how it's supposed to. So if you're ever in Budalangi, Kenya, you can come here to the library from 9 a.m. to whenever it gets dark. A library is a long-term investment, but it's super cool to see it all paying off right now, day or night. Thanks a ton for watching, and I'll see you around.